She cheated on me with her boss. I, 18 male, and my ex, 19 female, had this falling out about 4 months ago. We'd been together for almost a year at this point, and we're both about to go off to college, where we were going to be living in the same building 2 floors apart. One night, we were hanging out cuddling on my couch when she grabs my phone. Naturally, I grab hers, and the first thing I see is a text from a random number saying, "Thanks, baby." I ask her who it is, and she says it's her boss from work. Mind you, he's a 35 male with wife and kids. I immediately drive her home, and at that point, I didn't know what to do. I texted a friend from my work who is best friends with another girl who works with my girlfriend. I get in contact with this girl that works with my girlfriend, and she starts telling me everything. Her management was already suspect of this relationship due to consistent touching and groping at work, as well as both of them closing late nights with lots of alone time and staying in the manager's office by themselves. This was frustrating, but I loved this girl, so I gave it another chance. My mistake. About a week later, she tells me she wants a relationship, but wants to talk to who she wants to. I take this as her wanting to sleep around, which I was not comfortable with. But then she tells me she just wants to talk to others, then revealing she was talking to her boss still, even after I said she needed to stop. At this point, I was frustrated and we took a break. She texted me a week later, and we rekindled things. In between that time, I wrote a letter to her place of work reporting this incident, but I left names out. I got an email from her GM saying they already knew what I was referring to and they were looking into it. She found out about this and blew up on me, in turn ending our relationship due to frustrations from both of us. Was I right with what I did? First response comes from rage, sadness, all in one. Tell the boss's wife too, she deserves to know as well. The OP replies, I wish. Already tried contacting her, but no phone numbers online worked. Apparently, he had troubles already at a previous store in the company with a similar issue. Sounds like he needs to go to a hospital. Wanderer Hunter chimes in. Follow him to his house from work, and when he's not at home, tell his wife. OP responds, already found his address online, but he lives with his parents. I think his wife divorced him. Background Baseball 27 has this thought. My wife cheated on me with her boss 20 years ago. It's brutally painful, and there's seldom a day that goes by where I'm not flooded by it. Attention to all those considering cheating. I don't mean hot wives, stingers, poly, etc. If you're in a monogamy relationship and are not wanting to break up, divorce, don't do it. When you get caught, everyone gets caught, whether or not they get called out on it. Your partner has a very important part of themselves they can never let you have. Even if they forgive, move on, whatever. This trauma will haunt them for the rest of their lives. You're destroying who they are. You'd be better off ending the relationship, having your affair, then moving on. While you're doing it, you have no idea how badly it devastates your partner. If you care about them, their mental state, etc., don't cheat. Just leave them. It induces a PTSD-like bomb that stays in their brain or soul forever. Anyone who has been cheated on by someone they truly love will verify this. One more thought from Pros Before Bros. You really did the best thing by contacting the company and at least trying to contact his wife. With the age difference and that he's her boss, this is very predatory behavior. I'm not saying she's innocent, but it's very easy to see how a 35-year-old married father in a position of power was able to manipulate a teenage girl. It's for the best that you're no longer a part of that because it's going to get way uglier if it hasn't already. On to the next story. Wife has been cheating. Need support. My wife, 29, cheated on me, 30, 6 years ago with a coworker who was like 40 at the time. I only found out because we got an STD. She had always tried to deny it. Even tried to tell me that it was something I had from previous girls in the past. We've been together since we were 18. We never really talked about it, and I swept it under the rug. We ended up having a child who is 4 now, and I never really addressed the cheating. Now, a month ago, I found out she was cheating again with a new coworker who is 47. Her affair partner's wife contacted me with some text messages, and it snowballed from there. At first, she told me it was just flirting through text, and after digging and backing up her phone, I found, I love you, can't wait to see you Monday, texts. Even pictures of bands we would see when we would go out with my family. After a few days of me finding out, she finally admits that they only hooked up one time at their office. Then more came out that they would hook up when their company would travel for work. She said it was only 3 times they hooked up, which I don't believe. After finding out about the current affair, facts about the first affair came out, where she says it was only going on for a month emotionally and that she stopped after the STD. Now she's trying to be the model wife. Tells me everything she thinks I want to hear. I just don't know how she says that she loves me. I'm everything. She only wants to be with me. But cheat on me with someone who's out of shape and old enough to be her dad. She claims that she was in a dark place and I wasn't giving her the attention she needed, and she was afraid to talk to me in fear that I would brush her off. I just don't get how she could say how much she loves me and do this to me again. I love this girl so much, and all I wanted was to spend my life with her, and now it's like I don't know who she is. She wants me to stay and try to work through this, and I want to try, but all I can think about is how she didn't care enough to open up her feelings to me in fear of me brushing her off, but she wasn't afraid to open her legs for another man. So, I don't know what's going to happen, or how to even try to move forward, with or without her. We're both doing individual counseling and couples counseling. First response from Shigeteganai 13. The truth of this will hurt, and you're already in pain, so I'm sorry, but you need to understand your role in this. It wasn't the lack of attention that you failed to give that caused her to cheat. It was the rug sweeping you did when she first cheated and gave you an STD. You failed to stick to a boundary, and she faced no consequences from her decision, so why wouldn't she do it again? Now you are faced with an even bigger problem because you had a child with her. There are simple rules for reconciliation. It's essentially a basic test to see if reconciliation is the impossible. Failing even one of these questions puts reconciliation at likely failing. 1. It was a one-time thing. Fail. 2. The cheater is the one that confessed. Fail. 3. Shows true remorse and accepts 100% blame. Fail. 4. Willing to do whatever you want to work through it. 5. Didn't gaslight you, deny, make you question sanity. Fail. Said STD was your fault. 6. Was not long-term affair or multiple affairs. Fail. As you can see, 5 fails out of 6 is not good. In fact, it's almost as bad as it can be. What you choose to do is up to you, of course. I can tell you from my own experience that my wife failed 4 of them, and I still tried reconciliation. I loved her, loved my kids, loved being married. 3 months into the reconciliation, I caught her with a new secret boyfriend. The problem isn't mostly with you. Although you failed to create boundaries and stick to them, the problem is that she's broken inside. She doesn't love herself, so how could she possibly respect anyone that loves her? Is there a chance it could work? Sure. She might change, given years of therapy and a ton of self-work. But the reality is, that's not necessarily enough because the trust with you is broken. There are many stories about people that worked it out, and 30, 40, 50 years later, the betrayed spouse still feels the same distrust, the same triggers, the same as you do right now, and they all state very clearly that they wish they could go back and end it. You need time to process your own feelings. Right now, she's love-bombing you to create a trauma bond, so you can't think straight, so you believe she is doing everything to fix the problem. But after a few days or weeks, cracks will start to show, and she will get annoyed that you aren't over it yet, especially given the last time you just rug swept it. Whatever you are feeling, whatever you decide, make sure you choose you. Oh, and staying for the kid is never a good reason. It's always better the kid learns how to stand up for themselves rather than stay with someone toxic. Next thought from Judgmental Panda. She claims that she was in the dark place and I wasn't giving her the attention she needed, and she was afraid to talk to me in fear that I would brush her off. Blame shifting. This is not remorse. Keep in mind that reconciliation requires remorse. Personally, I think the first instance would already have immediately disqualified any interest in reconciliation. She cheated on you, got an STD, hid that from you, gave you the STD too, and gaslit you about it. The fact she allowed that to be buried is absolutely disgusting, as it shows she wasn't even guilty about it. Then she cheats again? For starters, are you really sure it was just the 2 people? I wouldn't be shocked if the number of affair partners is far larger than that, as she has already demonstrated she doesn't care for your emotional or physical well-being. If possible, I would advise trying a period of separation to clear your head and truly determine if you even want to reconcile. Can you ever forgive her? Can you ever trust her? If the answer is no, even if she did everything right, which she isn't, then it would still fail through no fault of your own. You don't have to reconcile after someone stabs you in the back, and you are not wrong for not wanting to. So make sure that if you want to reconcile, that it is because you genuinely want to. I understand this may be difficult with a kid in the picture, but if possible, just lower contact as much as you can for a period of time. Some people are against separation prior to deciding whether to reconcile due to fears that it will just open the door to them cheating again. However, in my opinion, this just saves you a lot of time. If your cheating partner would go back to cheating the instant you were no longer hovering over them, then they were never serious about reconciliation in the first place. You would just have been dancing around like a clown while they waited for the dust to settle before cheating again. Having to monitor them 24/7 is no way to live your life. You deserve a partner, not a morally bankrupt toddler. If they can't use the period apart to genuinely self-reflect, identify the flaws that lead to them cheating, and show genuine remorse by fixing those flaws, among other things, to try and start rebuilding the trust they shattered, why bother? Another thought from Marsupial Maven. DNA test your child. It is not invasive, just a cheek swab. Yeah, I know you don't want to hear this, but you need to hear it. Just do it so you know. Get the results and see a lawyer. Get expert advice and learn where you stand. You need to know your options to make rational decisions. Do whatever you can to mitigate your losses. You're with a serial cheater and cake eater. Whatever you know is just the tip of the iceberg. Start working on protecting yourself and your child, and save all the evidence you collect, somewhere safe like a flash drive, small, easy to hide. One final thought from Mr. Big Bull 01. First of all, sorry you're going through this. The biggest problem here is the lying, and I think she is still lying. The things she says and does are not out of remorse, but out of damage control. You see, I would have believed them after the first time she got caught, but after the first time she does it again, if she really loved you, if she really thought you are the only one for her, she would not have cheated the second time, but yet she did. This is why I have a really hard time believing she is really remorseful. I think she is sorry she got caught again. What she is doing now is damage control. Also, if she was really remorseful, she would have told you everything the first time you called her out on the second cheating, but she did not. She kept on lying and gaslighting you. All she is trying to do is blame shift this on you. You caused her to cheat, because apparently you did not give her the attention she needed. If she was really remorseful, she would not blame shift it. This is my view on this. Do with it what you want. Take care, Mr. Big Bull.